Might be helpful.
Hello and welcome to our free presentation, guys. We're going to talk about how to launch a fingerprinting business with confidence, no matter what state you're in. We're going to do our very best to keep this as close to 30 minutes as possible because that's what we promised you. And I want to respect your time, but I do know Brandon and I certainly know myself. So there's a really good chance this might creep into the 45-minute range. I just want to prepare you ahead of time. We are recording. There will be a replay. So if you have to jump off of here, don't worry. We've got you covered. But I also want to pack this thing full of value so you understand exactly what it's going to take to succeed as a fingerprint technician in your state. So please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Tell us where you're hailing from. Keep that conversation going. And I'm going to go ahead and get started by sharing my screen here. So, for those of you who maybe don't know me yet, my name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of notarycoach.com. And Notary Coach is where you go to grow. I'm going into my 10th year of coaching notary entrepreneurs on how to create a business that thrives even beyond loan signings, focused on daily sales and prospecting habits and education that helps notaries stand out and expand their business practices, mainly through specialty work that creates more revenue. And that's why I'm so excited today to talk about the fingerprinting opportunity with my friend Brandon Edwards of Secure Biometrics. So let me tell you a little bit about what to expect today. Excuse me. So, like I said, we're aiming at the 30-minute mark. I would count on 45 minutes. It's going to be a casual conversation. That's how both Brandon and I prefer to roll. We're going to be talking exactly about how to build a business as a fingerprint technician. So, I'm going to bring you up, introduce you to Brandon. He's going to talk about why fingerprinting makes so much sense. And we're going to do that through breaking down the 5 biggest misconceptions that notary entrepreneurs have about this business and the opportunity in general, and where that sometimes comes from. And then we're going to tell you exactly how to get started. And then those who are serious and excited about this business and what it could do for your 2026, we put together a pretty incredible course bundle just for you. And we're going to save that to the very end to talk about. And then, of course, we're going to have plenty of time for all of your questions. So we're going to hang out as long as it takes to make sure that those questions get answered. So if you think of a question, be sure to write it down. You can put it in the chat. We may not answer it right away, but I promise you we will get to it by the very end of this call. So I'm excited to introduce you to Brandon. He's one of the very first beta members of my Sign and Thrive notary training course way back in 2017. And we hit it off right away as he started building his notary business in Texas. But along the way, Brandon was introduced, he got sideswiped by the fingerprinting opportunity, and he started to see how he could build that business. And he's going to tell you how he scaled that from very humble beginnings as a mobile notary in Houston. And then he and I have been through some things and have
Yes,
grown.
indeed.
And as we've grown and tried to bring information about the fingerprinting industry to the notary community, it's not been easy. But now Brandon has it dialed in and he's built a fingerprinting empire. And he's going to share with us today exactly how to do it. So please help me welcome Brandon up to the stage so he can break down this business for you. Show some love in the chat. Brandon, come on up. Tell us a little bit about your journey from mobile notary to fingerprinting boss.
Sure, yeah. Thank you everyone for the hand claps and everything, and thank you, Bill, for this opportunity. It's so funny, man, that it's been a journey, right? It's been a journey, and like you said, it started on essentially. I'll just kind of tell you, I was in the healthcare field for about 15 years, and along the way, I was looking for a change. I had started getting to a point of not being happy so much, like when you go into work, right? And you're like, man, I need to do something and make this change. And good old YouTube, I found Bill, and went on there and I actually called Bill. He probably don't remember this. I actually gave him a call like, "Hey man, are you serious about this? Notary stuff?" And he assured me. And so I entered this class and started doing it. And I was doing mobile notary on the side at the hospital. And along the way, I had to get fingerprinted myself for my X-ray license. And I went to a place. I was like, man, this is kind of cool, not too bad. In and out, fairly reasonable. But I noticed I had to go back a second time, and that time I noticed, well, I was only going to this place, right? I'm in Houston. I mean, Houston. I seen somebody put a chat up, where I'm from, Houston, Texas. I was like, this is a big city, should be more than this. And so I started kind of inquiring a little bit, and I realized that it was mainly big players in the game and not too many mom and pop stores, right? And so I was like, I think I can carve this out and find my way. And as I started, it went from kind of fingerprinting people. I'll tell y'all this real quick. Like I say, Bill said I'm kind of long winded a little bit. I'll try to keep it short, but I was so determined to kind of get this started because I used to do notary in the break room at the office, but I would sneak my ink fingerprinting pads in the break rooms at the hospital, and I'll be fingerprinting doctors and stuff like that. In the meantime, just trying to make some money on the side and trying to see if it's valuable. And it's like because all these doctors they're getting fingerprinted for all these different places, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do it. So it started just really piquing my interest even more. Like, oh, I think I'm onto something. And along the way, I had started, I launched my business, and then COVID kind of hit, and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Fingerprinting is so it's personal, like I'm right here on your face and stuff. But it turns out that that was one of the best things for me because so many businesses were shut down during that time that I was able to come in and fulfill those needs for all these people that needed fingerprinting services. And so we were able to, I had my location, and then as I was, kind of going along, I was seeing from afar that, hey, um, this could be something more than just replacing my income at work. Because it really was. I just wanted to find something where I could just leave my job and have my own thing, right? And then as I started to grow, and I got another office, and this office was in the River Oaks area, which is a affluent area of Houston. And I was like, you know what? That's when it clicked for me. Like, oh, I'm in this area, then I can I deserve to be here, and it's more than just leaving my job. And my mind shift changed to where I can build an empire. And then I started building more locations, and then getting partner sites, and um, getting into selling hardware and software to people, and just kind of learning more about the industry. And then I was like, the biggest thing about this is, man, I didn't have anybody teaching me this, right? And so I was like, what would be cool is if um, everything that I'm kind of learning, I can kind of share that with others. And then that's when I had another company at the time, but that's when we end up, creating Secure Biometrics here, and been able to, have coaching and training and consulting services to kind of help people get started because one of the biggest things is that they don't have information out here on fingerprinting, like at least good, valuable, solid information. Because people that are successful, they're not telling anyone, right? But in this case, with my business, I decided to open up my whole business operations and share that with everyone. And so that's kind of been my journey of going from just thinking I need something to do on the side to replacing my income to, hey, I can really do this and I can uh, compete with the big guys at some point. So sorry, I would hope that's kind of like a condensed version of kind of everything, but that's
Yeah,
my introduction to this. Yeah.
I think you nailed it there. And I think in particular, it was that one line. People who are successful at this are not turning around sharing it. This is one of the
Mhm.
tightest. I mean, this was like loan signings was like back in 2012 and
Yeah.
2013 when I first came in, nobody was sharing secrets,
Yes,
but
sir.
now
Yes,
you
sir.
are. So guys, what we're going to do is through conversations we've all, both Brandon and I have had, we understand, we kind of consolidated the biggest questions into the five biggest misconceptions that notary entrepreneurs have about fingerprinting. So we're going to jump in and share those. So the first one is this one, Brandon.
Mm,
You hear this all
okay.
the time, right? This is probably the one I hear all the time. My state doesn't allow it. So can you talk about this a bit?
Sure, absolutely. And I'll start with it's so funny because when I talk to people or people reach out and we get in a conversation and I say, man, why can't you do it in my state? I say, well, where'd you hear that from? Oh, my colleague and somebody else that's in their field, if it's another notary or someone that's in the lab business or doing home inspection, whatever it is, right? I said, okay, well, did you go to the state's website? Did you look at DPS to see how it works or operates, stuff like that? No. I just went off of that. I was like, okay, well then let me change that mindset and let's get you on track because you can do this, you can make money. Fingerprinting can be done in every single state, no matter what. I know this because I sell systems in every state. I subcontract work in different states. It can be done everywhere, right? And essentially, what the main thing is if you're able to operate as a business in your state, and most everybody on this call is already a business owner, so you're legally able to operate in your state, then you can offer this as an additional service line. Now, where the things kind of comes into play, where you kind of people kind of get confused because terminology that was kind of put out there about open close hybrid and things like that. Essentially, I'm gonna break that down for you really, really quickly so that you can understand how you still can offer these services in all of these states. Okay, so ink fingerprinting, you can offer that in every single state. When they talk about live scan, you can offer that in every single state. It's just different ways that it's being performed. So, for instance, I'll say this too, real quick about offering this in every state. The only state where you have to have a fingerprint roller certification would be California, and essentially that's just a background check, basically, right? But every other state, if you're just doing regular fingerprinting, you don't have to do that. There are some things when it comes into live scan that's some differentiators, but essentially, the open state means that everyone can, if they want to connect to the state and electronically submit fingerprint records to that state, right? So a California is like that, a Florida is like that, a Utah is like that, a Nevada is like that, Ohio, different states like that. Those are some that you get, equipment you can connect to the state if you want, or you can do it, right? It all depends. But that's kind of what we're talking about when they start talking about that. Hybrid states are states where you can do electronically to the state, or you can submit cards to the state. So a hybrid state used to be like Arizona, Washington State. That's a hybrid state. So you have like live scan systems that can connect to the state as well as people sending in cards to the state, no problem. Then you have what they call closed states, but I call it a single source state or a state that have RFPs. So that means that they put out a request for proposal, they put out bids, and different companies bid on that proposal, and then a single source provider won to be in charge of providing all of the background checks for that state, right? And so in those states, like Texas, that's one of those states. I'll give you an example. So Identigo has it here, and that has that for most states, right? Identigo has the most states where they are the single source provider. But this is the thing, though, even though it is that, you can still send in cards to their card scanning station. Every state has a card scanning station, right? So even if you are not able to submit electronic records directly to the state, you can always give cards either to your customer and they send it to the state card processing center, or you yourself can have the cards and send it to the card processing center on their behalf and upcharge them as a kind of as a convenience courtesy fee or whatever, right? So that's kind of the breakdown of yes, you can do it everywhere, and I hope I kind of hit those points really quickly enough for you guys to. I can talk about this slide for an hour, but I hope this is enough to kind of for you all to kind of see the difference in saying that you can do that.
Beautiful. Yeah, that really did a really quick job of explaining that because I know that's one of the most confusing factors on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I see great questions coming in. So, guys, keep your questions coming in, but remember, we're not going to take any until the very end. So, we will get that through. So, misconception number 2, there's too much competition or oversaturation, is how it's always worded to me. Brandon, what do you say about this?
So I'll say the cliche thing is never too much competition, right? I'm always on competition with myself, right? But as we get out there and, they always have different businesses for different things, you got to have more than one. That's going to make a competitive edge out there for you to be able to win over your customer base, right? But let me tell you this. Honestly, when you see a lot of businesses out there that are offering fingerprinting services, they're actually just collection sites of TPAs. TPA is a third-party administrator. Like I myself have grown my company to become a third-party administrator, meaning that I have sites that I work with that I run all the fingerprinting through me, and they just fingerprint the customer on my behalf. So like the place I went to here in Texas, like, so I'm gonna bring this back around so you kind of fully understand what I'm trying to say. So like here in Texas, Identigo has the state contract. And so they have some of the big players, they have sites where they'll put equipment in there and then it'll be like a lab. That's why you'll see lab, mail, postal ship places and things like that offer these fingerprinting. They're not actually selling those services. They're just doing collections from a bigger company that's doing, federal contracting or different state contracting and things of that nature, right? And so what they're doing, they're sending them customers and then they're only getting paid between $3 to $5 per customer, right? So it's not, and they can't sell the services and they can't go do mobile, right? They got to stay there and they're doing them in between their traditional customers, right? So that's really not that much competition because there's only a few big players, and then it's room for all of us in between. Fingerprint is a multi-billion-dollar industry, so just think about the slice that we can get uh, at our business size, and we will do fine, right? The other thing, right, is it's a year-round demand for this. Like you have so many people that are needing fingerprinting. Many of you may or not many know like how many different people need it. So you have people that so let's say professionals, right? If they're getting a professional license as they're graduating from, so sometimes depending on the program, if they're going into like a nursing program, they have to get a fingerprint background check to get into the nursing program. Once they graduate the nursing program, they have to get another fingerprint background check to get their license. Once they get their license, they have to do a renewal of their license every couple of years, right? So like just from that one industry alone, as you think about that, you think about all the different people in the healthcare field that kind of falls into that. Then you have people getting fingerprinted for like immigration purposes, people trying to get citizenship, trying to get visas. You have people also, this is another one too, people don't know that they need fingerprinting. People in construction. So construction companies that deal in demolition, they all have to get fingerprint background checks because it's an ATF, it's federal. So in order for them to handle those explosives, they have to get FBI background check through the ATF in order to handle that, right? And so it's so many different people that you can think or so many people that need it, right? Kind of like in the and I'm gonna go into the niching down, like kind of like in the notary space, you can do general notary work, you can do loan
Trust signing,
signings.
loan
Yes,
signings, trust, cannabis.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Bill. You can do all those things, right? And so in fingerprinting, you can really niche down and do really well and make money. So I'll tell you something, like so I offer so many different services within fingerprinting, but then I also have so many different markets. But what I've learned and I'm gonna talk about it, I think a little bit later on one of the other slides, is I'm niching and focusing down on immigration, right? And I'll talk to you more about that, but I do really great in immigration fingerprinting services because generally it's the whole family that needs it. Like I say, I'll talk money a little bit later, but it's essentially you get a whole family and you charge it 100 some bucks per person for something that takes you really quick. And I've gotten so easy and fluid with fingerprint. I can do one card in about a minute and a half, if that, right, and get you out of my door. So those are some things you can do as far as niching down and everything. And I tell people that at first getting started to niche down and make money back real quick, ATF, which is going to gun stores, gun dealers, and then immigration. I don't care what you feel about it politically, but you're gonna make some money with it if you're in the business of making money. So those are just a few things I'll say on that, Bill, and then we can go
Yeah.
to
Well, that ties right in here to misconception number three. We hear this all the time, right? They're like, "Oh, how am I going to make any money?"
yeah,
All I can,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you guys, I'm living proof that you can make real money in this industry. This is all I do. I've been independently doing this for over 5 years now. It's crazy to say I've made that mark of 5 years just doing, having my fingerprinting business and being able to stay my way of living and still taking trips and everything like that. So you can make real money. So let's talk about this though. Okay, so think about this as far as like the margins that you have in fingerprinting. So once you buy your initial supplies, if we're going to start off ink or whatever, right? Let's talk about that. Initial supplies. Um, you know, when you get fingerprint cards, the fingerprint cards I buy them by the thousands, so I get them at like 17 cents a card, right? But I I sell them for depending on how they want it captured between $45 to $60 for two cards, right? And so that's a heck of a markup just on offering someone cards. And then if you turn that into, okay, well, I'm doing this for you now. So now I'm turning this um, single card into, hey, I'm doing the immigration service for you where I'm going to handle the whole process, right? So when I do that, I charge $140 for the immigration process, and it only costs me $28 to get it done, right? So that's a net of $112 just off the one immigration. And like I say, it's usually a family of four, right? And then they're going to tell their friends and tell their friends and everything, right? And then let's say that they're actually doing this because they want to go to another country. They're going to leave the U.S. and they're going to go to like some of the most hot places people are going right now are Portugal and Spain, right? People going to Costa Rica as well, but those are some of the most hottest places that I've been getting a lot of customers coming in from that are going there. And so now I know that Bill teaches this, and we teach this too. Uh, Now you can do the apostille for them, right? So now this $140 product, I charge $220 for a regular apostille and $320 for expedited apostille services. So now I just turned this $140 sale into, a $360 sale or a $460 sale, right? So, there's different ways where you can really make money in this, and the hard costs are very minimal because you already know how much it costs to do an apostille, right? So
Right.
this is pretty much all positive net flow, right?
Yeah.
Cash flow, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, they have other services. I won't go too long. I say I don't want to get
Well,
too.
yeah, well, let's go right into this one too, because this is the part of the big deal, right? Mobile fingerprinting and the convenience. We've already had a couple of questions in there. They're like, well, the police department only charges $10 or $20. But a lot
Mm-hmm,
of this, it's just like notarization, right? You can walk
mm-hmm.
into the bank, maybe they'll do it for free. Maybe you can go to a UPS store for 10, 5, $15, but that's not where the value that we offer here, right? It's inconvenient. So can you talk about the mobile component on this?
Sure, absolutely. So mobile is definitely something that you want to be able to do and offer. People kind of get misconceived with the brick and mortar versus mortar. So like brick and mortar is good to have. Yeah, people coming to you, but you're kind of stuck there, right? Mobile, you still have more flexibility. You can go to clients, they can come to you. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna try to make this not. I can go a lot of directions with this, but let's say, okay, so offering this mobile, um, you really want to market to, and this is what we kind of teach in the course and stuff. It's about offering mobile services to businesses, right? Because the average person like you and I tell people are not my customer. Now I have a regular person price and I have business prices, and you can kind of do that as you start out and then kind of eventually migrate into doing mostly just our businesses. And so as you're doing that, big execs, they're not taking time out their day to go get fingerprinting. They want you to come into them to have little disruption. So you're gonna go set up, and you're gonna wait until they ready. And when they come in, you hear fingerprint them, and then they gone. They'll have their assistants like fill out the card for them and stuff like it's that to that extent. Like for example, one of my big clients is Loomis Armored Car, right? So I fingerprint all the execs for Loomis. I go in, they say, "Hey, Brandon, wait here." The dude comes in, I hurry up, fingerprint him. He's gone in a minute or two, and then I'm back to working with them, right? And so for them, just so you can see, like I'm offering them, and this is what I tell people: you're offering them a white glove concierge mobile service, right? And so when you're doing that, you can charge them premiums. So, for instance, for myself, to pack my equipment up and go 5 miles from my office, I charge $400 just to get there and say hello, right? And then plus whatever services we're rendering. And then since I'm coming to you, I'm charging you more per. So like my first fingerprint card is like $50, and then my second one is like 25. So it's like different things like that where you're able to charge more because you're coming to them. Like you can't think of it as, oh, I'm just going to do this service. Like no, you're doing this as your business. It's not me, Brandon, going fingerprint them. This is me, Brandon from Bioscan USA. I'm bringing my company executive or technician is going there to do all the fingerprinting services and provide it there. So, it's you can charge premium pricing for it. You want to focus on doing companies, not individuals, and that's where you're gonna get the high dollar in return for offering mobile services to them.
Yeah, I love that because no matter what specialty we're focusing on, but on fingerprinting, you're looking for clients who value their time over their money, right? And the executives
Yes.
like that too. They don't want to go hunt down somebody, set an appointment, and go through that hassle. And just to confirm, Brandon, when you say you charge $400 to walk in the door, $500 to walk in the door, that's like your show up fee, and then you charge per person after that, right?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely
Per
right.
card.
That doesn't include no services. And then if I'm going farther, then it's even more.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Now, fifth one and the last one. Hear it all the time. It's too hard to find customers. I don't even know where to look. How's this work?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, man, and it's mainly more so on, I would say, the businesses themselves versus the customers, right? Trying to find the customers is not the thing. It's about you making sure that you are uh, known for customers to find you. It's not you finding customers, definitely need to find you, right? So if you have proper online visibility, so you have a good marketing website, you have a good Google My Business profile, your business name says what you are. So like if you are ARC Labs and you talking about your fingerprinting business, and you're not, like what are we talking about? People not looking for a lab to get fingerprinting. So that's kind of some of the things you have to do is make sure that you're properly optimized in fingerprinting. So you Google My Business, the first list, the first primary category is fingerprinting because you want to show up in that map pack when people are looking fingerprinting near me, right? So you want to make sure that you have online visibility with that. You want to make sure you're in different directories. Uh, Most businesses, like I say, they don't market effectively, by having things mismatched as far as, like I say, it's a lab, but then you say you're doing fingerprinting. If all I see on your website is lab stuff, and then a little tab that says fingerprinting, I'm not trying to do business with you, right? Also, joining networking events, right? So joining your chambers of commerce, that's where you need to go. And then I'll say this too, joining SHRM. SHRM is like Society of Human Resource Managers. So all the stuff we do is deal in compliance, right? So we want to deal with the people who make decisions on compliance. And so if you go and join like a SHRM, you can go to the meetings and you can introduce your business and say, hey, I do fingerprinting, I do notary, but we talking about fingerprinting today. So I do fingerprinting, right? And you want to be their provider and their vendor, right? So those are some things you want to do. And then the other thing is, I'll say this, partnerships. So essentially, I'll tell y'all what I do, a partner referral program that I have with my gun stores out here in the Houston area. So what I do is I have two options. I tell the gun store owner because people are doing suppressors and silencers, right? So I'm talking about federal fingerprinting, which I'm talking about, suppressors and silencers, the ATF. And so what I have is, hey, I'll give you a referral bonus for all your customers you send to me, right? So every customer you send to me, I'm gonna give you $15 or $20, and then we'll keep a log. And at the end of the month, I pay them via ACH. The other one is I'll give your customers a discount on the services for that you refer them to me. So some companies choose to take the money. Some of them say give the discount to my customer. And what the strategy is behind that is they already got the customers. I don't need to try to go get all these other B2C. I'm doing B2B. I'm going directly to the business. We're putting a program together and they're sending me customers. So that takes less leg work out on my side by just hitting those few to get many. So I hope
Yeah.
that kind of answers that in a kind of quick, condensed, summed up, you know.
Yeah. Huge value. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your insider secrets there.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. So now you know the that no matter what state you're in, fingerprinting is a viable business for you. It's a service that you can offer. You also know that there's plenty of volume around you and there's a lot less competition than you might think. And you can earn considerable revenue, especially because convenient mobile fingerprinting is in demand because we're in the convenience economy. And people don't necessarily want to take time to drive somewhere. They don't want to necessarily have to go to a police station to get this done. I know in Washington, trying to find a police station that offered it was ridiculous. Sometimes they were open, sometimes they weren't. They only do it on Mondays, they only do it on the first Wednesday. They don't want to jump through the hoops. There are literally potential customers everywhere. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to show you the exact system, the exact flow that Brandon has created that helped him earn over $2.5 million in fingerprinting revenue just over the last 4 years. And I promise we'll get to your questions. We're going to do that. But Brandon has taken all of his experience in building a multi-location fingerprinting empire, right? He used that word. I think you used that word 5 years ago, Brandon.
Yeah.
So I'm going to build an empire, Bill.
Oh, I did. I did. Yes.
And he's also been a coach and a trainer helping other fingerprint technicians across the country. So we've created this special bundle of courses. It's exclusively for friends of Notary Coach. He's never done this before. You can't get it anywhere else. And we're calling it the Business Launch Bundle. And with these 6 courses that we're including, you're going to genuinely become a fingerprinting boss. And one thing that I love about Brandon, because this was really important to both of us, as we were building out this project and this offer, we were talking about how important it is for the notary community to get exactly what they need without a bunch of fluff, without a bunch of teasing, without a bunch of BS, because it's so hard to find high quality training for rolling fingerprints in the first place, but also on the business development side, all those secrets that all the successful people are keeping, right? We have to give them everything. So we created this complete training system for notary entrepreneurs who want fast and reliable and repeatable revenue that's going to thrive no matter what's going on in the economy, because compliance and security happens all the time. And Brandon usually sells each of his courses completely separate. So asking him to do this was a huge ask. So Brandon, thank you for jumping in and playing ball with us here. He's just
Absolutely.
as committed to your success as I am. So we did it. We put together every single one of his highly rated courses. There's 6 of them. So you're going to have everything that you need to succeed, and you're going to cut your learning curve by 2/3 more than anywhere else. So let me show you what's inside this bundle. We start with the highly detailed Mastering Ink fingerprinting course, because that's how you get started right away in any state. And it's going to be around forever. And it's usually, this course he prices at $499, and it teaches you exactly how to roll perfect prints on both the federal cards and the state cards. Then you're going to also learn the pitfalls to avoid, like smudges, alignment problems, which I know is huge. Trust me, I tried this. We spent 6 hours in my dining room trying to roll these fingerprints. So the alignment problems are real. And then there's also some technical problems that he'll address, all to help you um, avoid rejections of your prints. And then he'll show you how to set up your workplace, your workflows, and you'll have details to know exactly how to fingerprint like kids. We don't even think about that. Or how about seniors whose fingerprints aren't quite as clear as they used to be? Or clients with unique situations and physical characteristics that make it difficult to roll. So that course alone is going to help you turn that skill into revenue really, really quickly. But of course, if you've been following me for a while, you know how important I think specialization is. So we put a second course in there right away, and it's called EDOs Unlocked. Now, EDOs are, it's an acronym for Electronic Departmental Orders.
Oh, yes,
You
sir.
don't know what
Electronic.
that means. That's totally okay. You're going to learn all about it. But it's basically FBI background checks for non-US citizens. And what's cool about these is they don't require any special equipment. This is that immigration niche that Brandon was just talking about, right? There's no tech learning curve. There's nothing like that. It's just in high demand, and it's year-round revenue. And there's a whole course on how to tap into this, and we include that. So it teach you exactly how to do it. He usually sells this for $399 on its own. So just right there, we're going to teach you how to roll ink fingerprints. Then we're going to give you a specialty that you can tap into with year-round revenue potential, just in those first 2 courses. And now your next question, I know, is going to tie into that misconception, right? Like, this is great, Bill. Awesome. But how do I get customers? And that's why I asked Brandon to include his course called Marketing That Makes Money. And it's not one of those fluffy general marketing course like, oh yeah, post on Google Business Profile. Oh yeah, reach out to prospects, right? It's highly detailed, and he's very serious when he says It's marketing that actually makes you money. You'll learn how to get clients fast and keep your calendar full, not only by boosting your online visibility, which we know is incredibly important, but he's also going to show you how to position yourself as the go-to professional, the one who gets repeat customers with those partnerships with, maybe it is a gun store, but maybe it's also law firms, medical facilities, hospitals, human resource departments, other corporations. There's huge industries, including cannabis, that has to fingerprint their employees.
Yeah.
All of that's going to be included in there for you. So just right there, in those 3 courses, you have exactly what you need to learn the technical skill on how to do this, tap into a specialty niche that you can focus on right now, and then have the marketing tools and training so you can grow it and scale it. So if we stopped right there with those 3 courses alone, you could be up and running, earning revenue. What, Brandon? The end of the week, if they were
Yeah,
serious about
absolutely.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
But like I said, I didn't want to stop there. I don't want to tease this out. I don't want a bunch of upsell emails in your inbox after you buy the first 3 courses. So I wanted to create a bundle and a tool and a resource where you literally had every single thing you need, not only to start, not only to learn how to do it, not only to learn how to find customers, but to scale this thing to its maximum potential. And so that's why we included 3 more courses for you. And Brandon mentioned this earlier, but there's this whole sub niche of opportunity with apostilles and translation services, especially when you're talking about FBI background checks and a lot of the other reasons that people need fingerprinting in the first place, right? A lot of that has to do with international commerce. So Brandon created an entire course that focuses on apostilles, embassy legalization, translation, and how it specifically ties to fingerprinting. So if you want to talk about ways that you can boost your average appointment revenue, right? If you want to move this thing from $100 to a $300 appointment, this is exactly how you do that. And that's why Brandon usually charges $399 just for this course all by itself. The potential here is huge. The revenue potential, the opportunity here, it's so great that just like Brandon, so many people make the switch from notary to fingerprinting. And because of that, we were thinking, if that's the case, or if somebody listening is maybe brand spanking new, they're not quite sure how they want to get started or what they want to focus on, they might need some actual help setting up their business. So we're including the course that Brandon built for that. It's called the Business Builder course. Again, he usually sells this for $499, but that's where you get some guidance on how to choose your strategic business name, right? He just gave you a huge hint on that earlier. If you decide you want an LLC, this will walk you through the steps to do that. How to set up professional emails, your bank accounts, your credit card processors, your online booking calendar so it's easy to book your services. Maybe some branding considerations, your logo design, all that stuff included in this course. And of course, one of the biggest questions is supplies. What do you need to get started and where do you get it? All of that's covered. And then finally, the very last course that we're going to include, if you want to scale this thing, if you're an empire builder like Brandon, you want to go maximum potential. After you've started earning some revenue, right? Building that empire, you're going to probably want to consider live scan printing. So we're including the cream of the crop course here. It's called Elevating Your Business with Live Scan Printing. And this is going to walk you through exactly how to choose the right equipment for you in the first place, how to navigate the state system for the state that you're in, how to offer that top tier federally regulated service, right? Brandon already kind of talked a little bit about that with the ATF, but there's so many more. On the financial regulation side, the bad, I mean, there's just a ton of it, just a ton of it.
Yeah, it
You're
really
also going to
is.
get that detailed boots on the ground advice. So Brandon is not sitting in some tower looking down on his empire. He is in the field working on his empire. And you get that kind of advice, those kinds of suggestions, that kind of support. He's going to show you how to do it in your own city. He's going to tell you how to verify the IDs, how to prepare clients ahead of time, and of course, the technical side too, how to produce high quality prints so you can avoid rejections. But he'll also share with you exactly how to troubleshoot errors and handle rejections when and if, I guess it's if and when you get them. It's bound to happen to the best of us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then one of the biggest questions we get is how to price your live scan service. And all of that's covered in the course. He normally sells that for 499 bucks. So imagine what this would look like if you had to buy all of these separately. If you were to stack them up, here's what it looks like. If you bought the mastering, ink, fingerprinting, the EDOs unlocked, the marketing that makes money, the apostille translation course, the basic business builder, and the live scan printing course, you're going to spend $2,794 for all 6 of those courses. And it would be worth every single penny. You'd be set and ready to build a fingerprinting empire in your city. And your return on investment would come so fast, especially when you implement this. But that return on investment will come 3 times faster at this special price for all 6 of these courses. It's a one-time fee of only $799 for every single course. Once you purchase them, all 6 courses automatically get uploaded into your library at Secure Biometrics at one time. So you have everything that you need. There's no tests, there's no certifications. They're on demand, so you can take them when you want. You can revisit them as many times as you want. Some courses take hours, some take, I think at the most, maybe 3 or 4 days if you have time to commit to them.
Yeah, I say that. And the cool thing too is that I like I'll say for instance, the ink course has 30 modules, the live scan course has 40 modules, the marketing course has 20. So all of them have like different modules in it. Some of them are 10 minutes long, some are 20 minutes long, some are 5 minutes long. And I'm constantly even adding additional information to it. Like I was just thinking the other day, like, oh man, I want to put this in the live scan course with something that's just come out recently. And so the thing is that they're forever growing and you have forever lifetime access to the courses as well. And they're not only online, but there also is a mobile app where you can take it on the go with you to access the courses, as you need. You might be on the fly because I'll tell you guys this too. I really put a lot of my time, energy into this and ensuring that the all of the information is in there and so that you can learn it because I honestly want to say, like I see some lady say she was in college or something. She's working on a master's. Like I'm taking you to college in these courses. It's not no simple stuff. Like it's very, very detailed. And I tell people a lot of times you have to listen to them a few times to kind of fully gather the information. And along with just the video content itself, I pretty much have so I have employees and I have staff and I have training sites. So I put together a training manual, right? So this is how a lot of this stuff came about from me having to train others to work for me. And so I have all of my company documents in each of these different courses. And all you have to do is take my logo off and put yours on it. And you can work with these documents within your organization to train yourself. Or if you have others that work with you, you can train them as well. So I just wanted to throw that in there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
I love that because nobody wants stale information, right? So this is up to date. It's the nitty gritty training. It's exactly how to build a fingerprinting business from the ground up. And then once you get going, it's everything you need to scale it to that empire level if that's what you want to build. So first you learn how to master the ink fingerprinting, like how to roll fingerprints. Then you're going to learn that specific niche so you can start making some money right now. Then you get the marketing course so you can start slowly scaling that out or quickly scaling that out, depending on what you want to do. Then there's the basic business builder course so you can set the foundation for an actual formed business if that's what you want to go or the direction you want to go. And then you can go live scan fingerprinting if you want to do that. And all of that is $799. Now, we know that's a huge investment. It's a big investment to make sure that 2026 is exactly what you want it to be. So we offer this 7-day money back guarantee. So if you go through this training and it doesn't deliver on the promise, if it doesn't show you exactly how to start a fingerprinting business with confidence, then all you have to do is let us know within 7 days and you get a full 100% money back guarantee refund. There's no risk in getting started. The only risk is not getting started at all. And even though we offer this money back guarantee, because we want it to be a no risk purchase for you, just on the off chance that it's not everything you want it to be, we already know it delivers on its promise. Because here's what a few of Brandon's students have already said. Felicia had no idea where to get started. Brandon explains it in such a way that she had the confidence and she got her first appointment within a week. Susan thought it was going to be way more complicated than she thought it, or that it ended up being. And we hear this all the time. And then Bill, great name, by the way, got the structure, the supplies, the workflow, and the compliance questions faster. And he was able to launch faster than he even expected. If they can do it, you can do it. Fingerprinting is one of the most lucrative specialties under the notary umbrella. And if you want to boost your revenue in 2026, this is the opportunity you've got to look at seriously. And you're never going to find this much training with this much access, with this much value for less than $800. This is your chance to kick it off in a different way. If you want different results, you've got to do different things. Awesome, Luis. Welcome. And that's the thing, guys. If you're in, let us know in the chat. Tell us. Let us welcome you right here.
Yeah.
Now let's get this thing open for live questions. Now, Brandon, there's a lot of them.
Okay.
I want to prepare you.
Okay.
We've got some great questions in here. So
okay.
First, Luis says he's in. Thank you. Welcome, Luis. I see this popping up a lot. How much does the equipment cost once the course is complete? So Brandon, I wonder if you could summarize this in two ways. First, for the ink fingerprinting, like what's a summary of the total cost for those supplies? And then a cost for the live scan equipment if somebody were to choose to do the live scan.
Sure. So ink is the easiest with the lowest cost being you can get it for less than $100. But we're not being a nerd on this. You can get a little ink pad. Some people buy them little circle ones. Don't do that. If you want to be a real fingerprinting business, you need to get the full square. They have some of those that are like $27 on Amazon, but it's like the regular ink. I don't like those. I recommend people buying the ceramic pads. They're a little bit pricier. They're about $67. But if you think about it, if you're selling one customer, it's $60 a card. One customer pays off that ink pad, but that ink pad, some cards, you can start with the 50 pack. So let's call it $150 or less for doing ink, right? And that's just getting a small pack, a 25 pack on Amazon. Now, something we have I'm sorry, Bill, I'm about to go a whole nother direction. But we do have a partner that we work with, a trusted fingerprint supply partner, Crime Scene, where we give you a coupon code to be able to get 10% off of all of the supplies you buy from there. And a lot of times when you see their stuff on Amazon, it's actually from the same people. They're based out of Arizona. So about 150 or less, I would say, just for the supplies. And then for live scan fingerprinting, it's slightly different because I generally build quotes based on the state you're in. right? Because every state operates slightly different when it comes to the live scan connecting to the state. But let's say a base system to do ATF fingerprinting, archiving, um, fingerprint cards, and FBI channeling, um, say around 5,500, 5,600, something like that. It can go up depending on any additional modules you want to add. There are some other like free values that you can give customers that don't cost you anything. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm about to keep talking and go off. You know how I am, like
Yeah.
archiving and stuff like that on your computer system. And like I charge people $350 for a lifetime archiving. That just means I don't delete it off my live scan system, right? And I do have it backed up in the cloud, but that's free money, right? And so that's another way you can do this too. Like when you get lawyers and different these big execs that I have, like Loomis and stuff, like I archive their prints, so I just get free money from saving their prints on my system. So there's a lot of different things you can do when you're ready to elevate. That's why it's called elevating once you bring the live scan in. But I'll say a base system's about 5,500. They could go up a little bit more. If you can save money by supplying your own laptop if you want to do that, or your own webcam. Those are some different ways where you can save some money on the live scan systems. But basically, I'd say about 5,500 for that to kind of get entry level, and then ink about 150.
Yeah. What I'm hearing there when I hear that though is it's shifting your mindset from how much does it cost to how much can I make? And
Yes.
when you're live scanning, there's so many more services that you can offer and charge for, then your return on investment comes much faster.
Yes, sir.
But I'll tell you, we're just just about to start a fingerprinting business in Washington, and we bought everything that we needed. And I think it was way less than 150 bucks. It was so inexpensive. I was so impressed
Mm,
on that. So it's
yeah.
just to get
Yeah,
started.
it's just my personal thing of getting the ceramic pad because the ceramic pad's about 70 to
Yeah.
75. First, if you buy that 25, when you could buy the 25 and get everything underneath $100. But that ceramic pad is the one that the police officers use. And what I like to tell people, if you're gonna do this and you're serious about it, then you're gonna invest in the equipment to do it the right way. The cool thing about this ink pad, sorry, see, I'm a nerd. I'm talking about an ink pad, right? Like it's really fresh and crisp, so it leaves great impressions, but it also comes out very easy from your customers' hands versus the cheaper pads. So that's why I recommend that to increase the price slightly, but you can definitely get this started for underneath $100. Sorry, Bill.
Yeah. Nope, that's great. No, I'm glad that was such great information. While you're talking about that, do you recommend starting out with ink before live scan? Is that why we structured this bundle kind of the way that we did?
Yeah, yeah, I would say that. A lot of people, you want to make sure that it's for you, right? Everything is not for everyone, and if you can have a minimal investment, into something, get into it, and then as you start to see, right, the calls you're getting and what you can charge, then you're going to definitely want to elevate to that next level. But I do recommend people getting started with this because, like I say, it may not be for everyone. You might not like rolling people's hands and stuff like that. You might be like, ugh, So if that's not for you, it may not, you might not want to put the thousands of dollars of investment in. But once you do see it, you're going to want that in the live scan device because you're going to do many things with it. I'll tell you, within the last 2 years, sorry, Bill, here I go again. Last 2 years, I've had two different companies fly me to Mexico to fingerprint their helicopter pilots, right? Like, but that was the part, it was actually on my vision board I have here on the side here to do business internationally. I wrote that in 2021. I want to be doing business internationally. And it came in 2024 and again this year where I flew. I already do business where I have people sending me cards and all this other stuff, but for me to actually fly out and fingerprint some people outside of the United States, right? And so, there's so much that you can do with this business that's not being talked about. That's why I love it so much, and
Yeah.
seeing the change it's done for me. So let me be quiet, Bill, because I'll just
No,
keep
hey, this is
growing.
what we're here for, Brandon. We want to hear it from you. So, on that same vein, because I saw a couple of questions about this too. They're concerned about state lines. Can I cross the line and get fingerprints here and those types of things? Can you just expand on that and clarify clearly? whether or not there's boundaries to this.
Sure, absolutely. So you can definitely cross lines doing anything you want with ink fingerprinting. Live scan fingerprinting, there are some slight regulations. People do, I'm going to tell you the correct way, and then people do what they want as they own their own businesses. They can do whatever. So let's say, for instance, so California is a very strict state. So Cal DOJ, if you have a system that's a live scan system that's connected to Cal DOJ, and you take that system outside of the state of California and you fingerprint someone on that system and transmit it back to the state, they can shut you down. That's totally against being able to do that. Most other states, they don't want you taking the system out and doing that too. Now, a gray area, someone can take the system, fingerprint someone, and then not transmit it until they get back into the state, right? Like that's not prohibited. And then you have one state where you always have people talking about on different videos, FDLE, Florida. Florida is the only state that's the most unique. They're the unicorn out of all states, where the person can be anywhere and electronically submit the file to the state of Florida and not physically be present in the state. That is the only state that's the unicorn when it comes to doing that and bringing your system places. But I'll bring my system other, different places and stuff. Like I'm in Texas though, so I'm not transmitting directly to my state. I'm doing federal services, right? So my federal is the whole United States. So you can take your system anywhere. It's just a matter of your state if you can transmit that file while you're not physically in the state. I hope that kind of answers it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And
Mhm.
Sabrina asked, if she were to sign up for the course, what kind of support options are available? And right now you have email support.
Yes, sir. I have email support. They have text messaging support. And if they really want to like dive into it, we have a community, kind of like how you have, Bill. So we have a community of independent fingerprint business owners across the United States that I've helped. And we a lot of people that's in that community, they're messaging within the app itself and getting responses from myself and other veteran fingerprint people that are in there. And then I do a bi-weekly coaching call, so every other Tuesday night. So tomorrow night, I'm doing my coaching call. It's going to be kind of the last one for the year. So kind of sad about that, but excited because we made it through the year. So we have that available for people that are interested in that. And we have, one-on-one calls. People want to have one-on-one calls and not group calls. And then one thing that's pretty cool and unique that we have, Bill, that no one else on this level is doing, like they have like the PBSA, which is a huge national, international entity. They have like screening conferences, but we actually have our own conference, Secure Biometrics. This year we had our second annual conference, which was in Pensacola, Florida. So we had a good turnout there. I had some live scan vendors come and speak. I had vendors that focused on background screening services, some that came and talked about drug testing services. So we had all that going on, and that was, Labor Day weekend in Pensacola. I think this year coming up, Bill, we may be shooting for Vegas, and so we'll see. We might be Vegas or, it's hot out here because we usually do it during the summertime. I like to be by a beach. Being honest, that's why we did Pensacola. So I'm battling between another beach place or Vegas. So that's something that's cool that we do and have it coming up for additional resources for people that that want to really dive into it and take it seriously and get the information that's going to help them start, operate, and scale.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. I think people are craving in-person events that actually deliver on the value. So I'm excited for that too. Going through the questions here. Yeah, Susan, is there an online store to buy the high quality ceramic ink pad? Brandon was talking about the crime store.
Crime Scene. So crime
Crime
scene dot
scene.
yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
crimescene.com. They have them. Amazon used to have them, but he doesn't put them on Amazon anymore. He just sells them directly from his website. I'll tell y'all this code right now. Let me type it in the chat. You can put this code in there and you can get 10% off any purchases from Crime Scene. He does have free shipping if you have over $100 in your cart. He has free shipping. Um, but you can get it from there. There's another company called ID Technologies that has them as well. And you can buy the pads from there. They're a little bit more pricier. They try to charge you like 100 and something because of they charge you for shipping with them. So and their shipping price is a little bit steep. But his pads, I wish I would. I sorry, I have a pad right here. I can get it if you want to kind of see the name on it and everything. But essentially, it's about this big. It's ceramic, and it lasts a long time, and you will make your money back pretty quickly after your first customer. Especially if y'all doing mobile, right? We're talking about how much you can charge per service.
Yeah,
We're not talking about adding mobile fees on top of the service, right? So that's kind of the cool thing about saying you get your money back pretty quickly.
very quickly. It's a great return on investment. And if you happen to be in the Phoenix area, you can actually go to the crime scene store and it's fascinating.
Ah, cool. You've been sweet,
Yeah, I
sweet,
have been there. Yeah.
sweet.
Right after off of Indian School on 32nd Street.
Ah,
Uh,
nice.
so question here from Yvette, do we supply the cards or does the customer? And are
So,
there special cards that might be specific to certain situations?
okay, sure. So I'll tell you this. It's funny because I had a customer call me today asking if, what's the price difference if you bring your own card? And I was like, the same price. I don't care if you bring your own cards, right? This is our price for rolling on cards. Because I'm getting them for 17 cents. So, but essentially, um, I keep cards in stock. The universal card for the United States is the FBI FD 258 card. That's the US standard. It's accepted everywhere except Maryland. Uh, and it's funny. So I talk about the different cards in the course too, in the ink course, but keep you some FBI FD 258 cards. Some people are going to say, like when you're doing the EDO process and you start doing immigration, and say, well, it says it has to be on the 1164. It does not. The FBI still takes the FD 258. That's their standard card for the whole United States. And I've never gotten a rejection for sending in a card from the FD 258 versus 1164. Now, South Dakota, they have their own card. I wouldn't worry about stocking it because you're going to probably rarely see people from South Dakota, right? The other cards that you can keep in hand that you can order, these are two other cards that you can order that will come in handy. So Ohio. So anyone outside the state of Ohio, they're doing Ohio calls it the Ohio BCI, the background check investigations or something like that. And that was a state background check. So Ohio, they take the 258 and then they take the Ohio card. The Ohio card is a two-sided card, okay, where information has to be sent on both. And it's a regular kind of card. It looks like the 258 slightly, but it's kind of slightly different. And the boxes at the bottom where you put your flat impressions or the slaps is what they call them. It's a little bit smaller and shorter than the 258. And that's something you would be able to see as you compare both cards side by side. I say I have them in the course, you can see them. But you can order those. It's $10 and you get 100 of them. Okay. So you'll keep some that says the FT258 and the other ones are the Ohio BCI. So they need both of them to turn in when they're going in, right? So you can order those. I wait till you start getting some people though. Like for me, I'm getting a lot of different people. So I keep them in stock. And it comes in handy when I'm subcontracting out work to people and all that stuff. I got the card already, don't worry about it. But I'll tell you one little trick about that. If you do get someone for Ohio and you don't have the cards, so if you have the two FD258 cards on one of the cards in the applicant section, in the very top right, you can strike a line through it and write BCI. And they will take that and run both cards, and the customer can get their process taken care of.
Nice.
Now, the other place is Maryland. Maryland is more of a pinkish card. And they don't take no FD258 cards. They the only state that's doing they do what they want. So they have to mail the card to the customer, but you can actually in the courses I have the order form where you can order this card too from them, and you can have it available for people that need to do Maryland. And so Maryland is another front and back card as well. So information where you fingerprint them on the front. There's some questions the customer has to ask. You have to put your information on there and ask for your company ID. I normally put my tax ID number on there, right, or my EIN. So I write that on there so they know that I'm a legal entity where this place has come to get fingerprinted. And then on the back, they put there's other information they have to fill out. So those are the different cards for the different states that are kind of out there. But all you have to keep in stock is the FD258. So sorry I walked you around the park a little bit, but I kind of wanted you to get an understanding of some of the different ones you may encounter.
Yeah, that's very valuable information and a lot of information about
Sorry.
Maryland and Ohio. No, that's
Sorry.
great.
Yeah.
Okay,
If
so
we
I
could
want to
get
get to
earlier, we could talk, right? So,
I want to get to Jeffrey's question because he's posted this a few times because he wants to make sure we get to it.
sure.
How can you do civilian background checks civilian background fingerprinting for nursing? I've been reached out to and do both FBI and civilian already. So he's already fingerprinting, but can you do civilian background checks for nursing?
So, I'm trying to make sure I understand if you're already, so you're saying you're already fingerprinting them, but you want to know how you fingerprint them? It sounds like you say you're already doing it. Can you clarify that just a little bit?
Yeah, Jeffrey, are you able to unmute and come up? Clarify your question?
Here we go. I can now. Yes. So
Ah,
to
okay.
clarify, I can do the FD 258s. I'm in West Virginia, really where I am West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky.
Okay.
Okay. Um, how can I get the civilian background check cards to do essentially all three of those states?
So essentially, you'll be doing them on the FD258 card, right? So you'll use the same card to, so West Virginia is an identical state. Kentucky, identical state. Ohio is like a state where anybody can connect to the state and submit fingerprint records, right? And so essentially, if you're fingerprinting someone and they need a nursing for Ohio, then you can give them, like I just said, the
The
two of the
FD
FBI,
258s.
two for your face, but then on the top right where it says applicant, strike the line through it and put BCI, right?
Okay.
Or since you're so close and you're getting people doing it, maybe you could go ahead and just order you a pack for $10 from the state and just kind of keep some of those in handy. But the other people, they're going to be
Wait.
mailing those in to the identical card station for Kentucky, right? And the identical card station for West Virginia, right? So so you're good with the FD258. And then, like I said, if you want it, you can just order some of the Ohio cards.
Yeah, because I'm literally 5 minutes away from two hospitals.
Oh wow, yeah, perfect. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
just
perfect.
like, because I've had a couple of them, they've reached out to me, and I turn around and I'll tell the people like, look, I can do the FBI stuff, but the
Hmm.
civilian background checks I can't do because I don't have the cards. I don't know how to get the cards.
Well, no, yeah.
But
So essentially, you are doing civilian background checks, right?
I
Like they're
I
not
mean I
military, nothing like that, right? So all of them are falling under civilians, so to speak, and they're doing this for non-governmental reasons, in a sense of if they're medical professionals, right? They're just
okay.
getting state background checks. Most times they're getting state and federal background checks, but it's all going to be
Yes.
based off the card, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to give them the card. The card is going to get sent to the card scanning station, and then based on the ORI number that's provided, then that's going to let the card scanning station know, okay, we're doing the state check and the federal check, and then where we need to send the results to. And so it's all being done simultaneously based on ORI numbers. And those agency orienting agency identifiers. It's OAI, but they call it ORI numbers. Crazy. But
Okay.
essentially that's kind of what it is, but you can continue to service those people and don't turn no one away. Never turn no one away.
I don't. It's just when it gets to when they say they gotta have the state stuff. I'm like, I don't have the cards. Like, if you've got the card, bring it to me. I'll roll you. But I
Yeah.
don't know how to
It,
get the cards for at least for here in West Virginia.
yeah, it's the same card. It's the 258.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a universal card. It's accepted everywhere in the United States. And the card that you have, you're going to give that. You can add it on as a concierge service and upcharge them to mail it in to the card scanning station for them, or just give it to them and they mail it in themselves.
So literally, I would just do two FBI cards.
Mhm.
One keep it as FD 258, but then here in West Virginia, what am I changing this
No, that's only
FD?
for Ohio. West Virginia is let's say Identigo has the contract, so they're just gonna send the cards directly into Identigo, and it's gonna be the FD258.
So I'll just do two FBI cards, one
Mm-hmm.
for FBI and one for state, and then that's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it's just based on if they need to if they
That's
want
all
one
I
card or two.
that's all I needed because I'm just in there. I'm just like, yeah, I can do this, but I don't have this other card.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. We still have lots of great questions. Brandon, how are you doing on time? You good?
I'm good, man. I blocked the day for this. I do have I'm not gonna lie, I do have a lot of stuff going on. My phones have been ringing, and I know I got a
Blowing
ton of
up.
emails. But we can go a few more questions if you have time. Maybe let's call it for another maybe 3 or 4 questions.
Okay, you got it. So Nakia says, my state requires that you train, get equipment, and work for a third party. Will I be a third party to your organization, or will I still have to shop around for someone to potentially partner with? She's in Michigan, if that's helpful.
Okay, so that's not accurate. I actually sell systems in Michigan. So essentially, as long as you're able to operate a business, right? So you're legally able to operate a business in your state. So if it's going to be a sole prop or LLC, that's something you could talk about with your CPA as far as business formation and structure. But in order to get a live scan system, you don't have to work under anybody else and shadow nobody else or any of that type of stuff. Uh, you can get a live scan system. I can assist you with that. I'll help you connect to the state. You'll be able to do your test runs. You'll have to, it's some other, technical things you're going to have to do as far as making sure you have a static IP, but that's pretty easy. And then making sure you have proper business insurance and security because, you submit these records directly to the state. But yes, you can get started and not have to shadow anyone or work for anyone or anything of that nature.
And then on the ink side, and I ran into this in Washington too, right? If you
Mhm.
call the law enforcement office, they tell you you can't roll ink fingerprints, which also appears to be inaccurate. So she's running into that in Michigan as well, where the Michigan State Police says she can't roll ink fingerprints. Have you found that that's true or not?
No, let's say I've set up several businesses in Michigan and I subcontract work to people in Michigan. So that's not true. A lot of times the police, to be honest with you, the police they don't really, depending on who you talk to, they don't know, right? And they don't know the procedure because they just think, oh, well, it only has to be us. And I mean, if you look in Michigan, and like I say, I sub out work if you even look at in Detroit, you can look up Zoom fingerprinting, right? So I work with her quite often and send her work to go do mobile appointments for me in the city of Detroit. And so you don't have to. I don't know who you're talking to, but that's inaccurate. You can get started as long as, like say, you legally able to operate a business in your state, which all it is filing paperwork. And then because you're going to have to show the different documentation to MSP when we're setting up your account, right? So you do have to have that, but no, you can definitely do this.
Wonderful. Hopefully that helps clear that up. But just so you know, I ran into that in Washington as well. I called the law enforcement where they send you for your ink
Mm-hmm.
rolls, and they said that we were not allowed to do that, and that turned out to be inaccurate there as well.
Yes, sir. I sub out work out there as well too.
Well, I know several fingerprinters in Washington, so I
Yeah.
know that's true. Okay. Guys, I think okay. So the other questions that we're seeing here is about the special offer. Guys, this price is valid through December 28th. It's midnight, December 28th. Um, and let's see. Oh, this is an interesting question from Lisa. She says she's seen from other people that you have to be certified by the Department of Justice to do mobile fingerprinting. Is that accurate?
No, that's not accurate. And what state are you in? Probably California.
Probably California, I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So California, like I said, is the only state where you have to have a fingerprint roller certification, and it's pretty much just a background check, right? So you do the background check, you get your fingerprint roller certification, and then you can do ink fingerprinting. To do live scan fingerprinting, there's an additional process. Right now, Cal DOJ, man, it takes about 6 months to a year to get your live scan. Uh, it's kind of like PSP, P2P, PSP. It takes about, let's just say this, it takes about 6 months to a year to get set up to offer live scan in California. Now that's
So
to
I'm
do
actually in North
submissions to,
Carolina.
oh, North Carolina. Oh man, perfect place. Check this out. Let me tell you something really good. North Carolina is a card state. So you have SBI where people, and it's called SBI, that's the background check unit for the state of North Carolina, right? And so with that, you have most people go to the sheriff's office, but but so many people can mail in cards if they so choose. They don't have to go to the sheriff's office. They just go online. Let's say, take for instance, nursing. They go online and then they choose they're gonna mail in the card and not go to the sheriff's because there's not that many sheriff's offices, right, between the states. And so they have to go or between all the cities. And so you can go to somewhere independent like you and just do an ink card and give it to the customer and mail it in. Right. So I have some people I've helped out in North Carolina. That's all you got to do. And so having live scan would be good. You can add that at some point, but just doing ink fingerprint in North Carolina, you good. You don't have to have no extra certifications, none of that type of stuff. Just go with it and start making you some money right now.
That's great to know.
Thank you.
Great.
Oh yeah, my pleasure.
Kathleen says, what agency oversees fingerprinting? Who would I talk to in my state to find out if we have any regulations or restrictions? She's in Connecticut. Do you see that as a necessary step, or like what advice would you have? Because we had several of those.
Yeah. So you can do ink anywhere. Like you don't have to check your state to see if you can do ink fingerprinting. It's all about the live scan, connecting the live scan to the state, right? And so that's the key part is if you're going to get a live scan system, can you connect to the state to submit directly to it? Or if it's going to just be a live scan system where you can offer commercial services, which we call ATF services, FBI channeling services, TSC services, right? That's Transportation Security Clearinghouse. That's for all the people dealing in aviation. Or if it's dealing with FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, that's the banking industry. So those are federal services, right? So you can do commercial services, or you can do state direct. In some states, you can do both, depending on the state, right? Now, let me tell you about Connecticut. Connecticut is so awesome because within the last 4 years, they used to have one single person that had a contract. He actually built out the fingerprint background check unit. He was a former policeman. He built it out and gave his company the contract once he retired. Ironically, right? But then it was so over demanding that 4 years ago, either 3 to 4 years ago, Connecticut allowed for single independent vendors to fingerprint their customers and they mail in cards to the state. So same thing, you could do ink fingerprinting in Connecticut or live scan and print the card and your customer's going to mail it into the state.
That's so funny. She says, wow, no one ever says Connecticut is awesome. So thank you for that, Brandon.
Now, because of the way it works, right? Like it's all about like how you could be the most beneficial for doing that, offering these services. And the cool thing, so this is the great thing I tell you about some states like Connecticut, and I'm gonna have to hop off in just a second, but states like Connecticut, North Carolina, Arizona, Washington, I'll just name those few, it's many others, Iowa's, other ones, is that, let me say, I'm gonna tell you the difference in the greatness. So California, they're all in your business. They're auditing. I got a buddy, Jason, he got several locations in California, right? But they're always in his business. They're auditing his records. They're auditing his system. They're auditing everything he's doing, right? Because he's connected to the state and he's submitted. When you are independent fingerprint or vendor and you're doing cards, the state can't audit you. They can't constantly be all in your books, right? And they're not taking a cut because when you connect to the state's going to charge you fees per transaction, right? So for instance, if I'll say Florida, if a healthcare professional, the state charges you $60 and then you put your rolling fee on top of that, right? And so they're going to take, if you're charging, let's say $40 to make it easy for me, $100, 60 going to the state because you're connected to the state. If you're in Connecticut and you just charging people cards, you're getting your rolling fee. You're not paying any of that to the state for a transaction. Like the customer themselves are paying the state for the state background check fee. That's separate of you. So all your money you make is all your money. And you can scale that infinitely, especially with some, let me not go like into so many other directions with this or how you can really scale that. But essentially, that's the beauty and the great thing about that is you can get started and go market to everyone right away and just do cards for them. And then Bill, we'll see if we could get maybe one more and then
yeah, I'm looking at the questions here, but I think that's just a really good point to clarify because there still some confusion on states. You can do ink fingerprinting in all 50 states, which is exactly why we kind of structured this. You'll learn ink fingerprinting. You can specialize on the immigration side of things, and you get the marketing class. So literally, like Brandon said, you can provide this service to everyone. You can talk to everyone when it comes to ink fingerprinting. Then, what do you say to people who say, like Aggie's talking about in California, only does live scan? So if, and that's one of those misconceptions too, where they only accept live scan. Can you just define or explain how and why that may or may not be true?
Sure, absolutely. So live scan Cal DOJ, yes. So many of your potential customers are doing live scan for Cal DOJ. However, you can offer additional live scan services that are not to Cal DOJ, right? So FDLE, and the other ones, the commercial service I was talking about. So you can do that, or you can do cards too, because people are not always just doing stuff for California. You have people getting licensure in many other states. So, like for instance, telehealth. So y'all ever heard of that company? Is it Lemonade, Lemon Health, something like that? They do telehealth. They're based out of California, and I've worked with them for a while and do business as far as doing mobile appointments for them across the United States. But people, there are people in California, but like they getting licensed in other states, so they need fingerprint cards to mail to other states for their licensure, right? And they have many businesses that are doing that. It's usually the top execs or even people that are just getting licensure because they want to move to another place. They're doing travel medicine, telemedicine and travel, right? Shoot, I tell you this in California, you can charge a lot. I had a guy out in the Sacramento area that I needed to get some work done for, and he wanted to charge me $125 of ink card. He said that's his price, $125 per card. And I'm shopping around, so I'm subbing it out. I need a little meat left on the bone for me to, make a little money. And as a middleman, I found another company. They charge me $75 per card, right? And so that's in California. So you can't do cards for people. You have to advertise the services, that, hey, I'm offering ink fingerprint cards because everybody in California is thinking of live scan, and some of them don't even offer ink fingerprint cards. And the crazy thing too, some businesses don't even offer mobile services, right? Brick and mortar businesses, they won't even offer it. It's like, this is crazy. You know how much money you leave on the table by not offering a mobile service? Like for me, it doesn't make sense, but in their mind, it works for them. So that's kind of the kind of tie it back home to being able to be mobile. Like you got people like the guy, he didn't want to be mobile. He was like, I'll charge you $125, but I won't go to them. And he was like, man, I don't want to charge you a lot of money to go. I'm like, dude, whatever your price is, I'm gonna pay it, right? So just I don't care what your price is. My client is going to pay it. And he's
Yep.
like, I'm not going to do it unless it's 10 people. Like for me, that don't make sense. Like if I tell you my price is $2,000, all right, cool, and I pay it, right? As opposed to saying, well, I don't want to charge you too much money. Like, are we in business or to make money? Or are we in here to just turn customers away and like what are we talking about? So I'll leave it at that.
Excellent way to wrap us up here. That was awesome, Brandon. Thank you so much for your time and your willingness to share your wisdom that you've gained through the years. I truly appreciate it. I'm so looking forward to this and watching everyone else grow their fingerprinting business. If this is for you, guys, this is the time. 2026 is knocking on the door. We're almost there. And I got several people asking for your contact information, Brandon. Do you mind?
Yeah, sure.
Can you include that? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Email, I would say is the best way. A lot of times I'm in meetings and stuff throughout the day. Like I say, I cleared the whole day for this, but a lot of times I'm in meetings and I'm running from my locations, checking on stuff. So email is the best way. I may not be able to get to you back right away, but at some point I'm gonna get to you within let's say 24 hours. I'll get back to you. But you can email me at Brandon, Brandon, at securebiometrics.net. That's the best way to get to me. We do have the company line. If I'm on phones that day, I can answer that for you. The company line is 832-850-3650. But like I say, email is the best way. That way I can have my assistants help me to kind of cipher through the emails and all that type of stuff.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, everyone who showed up today to share your Monday to grow yourself and your business. We're looking forward to working with you. Brandon, thanks again. You guys enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye
Yes,
now.
thank you all. Have a great one. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, everyone.